All right, guys, the last workout of week 7. This is the miscellaneous day. Today, I started with some pull downs. I was really working on explosive movement with the pull downs, and I was pretty pleased with how this felt. I was getting some good lat activation. I felt quite strong, and after that movement, I went over to the low row, did 3 sets of 8 on the pull downs and 3 sets of 10 on the low row. I really like this hammer strength low row machine, and I'm going to show you exactly how I get into it and what I do when I have a little bit too much weight loaded. So I like to grab one side at a time, kind of pop back, let my scapula stretch forward, and then I retract my scapula and begin the rowing motion, keeping the elbows low and remembering to pull with the elbow and not the bicep. And you can see me starting to struggle with this weight. The weight was actually starting to slip out of my hand a little bit, and I switched to one at a time. That's kind of one way that you can change a bilateral movement to a unilateral movement, and that makes it so you can kind of cheat the weight a little bit. It's quicker than getting up, unloading the weight, and doing your repetitions over again. And that's a tactic that I've utilized with many different exercises. You'll see me utilizing it with even bicep curls, since I'm doing bicep curls right now. I will have more body sway, and I'll have a little bit more, I'll toss the weight a little bit more if I need to. At a certain point, you can cheat the weight just a little bit. You want to stay strict a lot of the time, but I typically tell people when we're moving up in weight, it's okay to cheat the weight a little bit in certain exercises, and these are some of those exercises. So an additional point to this day, it was actually kind of exciting in a low-key kind of way, because this is the first day that I was willing to allow myself to attempt curling the 50-pound dumbbells, and it went really well. It felt very comfortable. The alternating bicep curls, which was the last clip that you saw, felt very strong. My left bicep didn't feel as weak as the week prior. And then I went on to hammer curls after that, and the hammer curls felt nice and strong. I've increased my calories, maintained an increased calorie intake, and I have seen the scale go up just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I'm very comfortable cutting weight, and when it comes time to drop the weight and do a sodium manipulation for weigh-ins, then I feel very confident in my ability to perform that task. So I'm not going to sweat 1 or 2 pounds so long as my body is healthy and I'm feeling good and I'm performing well. So after the lat work, which is the pull downs and the low rows, after the bicep work, which was the alternating curls and the hammer curls, I went on to some forearm stuff. I just did the basic reverse wrist curl supersetted with the wrist curl. So you're going to see that my left wrist, which is the one that I'm lifting with right now, this video is my video always gets mirrored because I'm filming on my phone, all that stuff. I'm sure everybody already knows what I'm talking about, but it's my left wrist is definitely weaker, and you're going to see a lot less control, especially in the curls. So that's my right wrist that's lifting right there, and it feels very controlled. It feels strong. I start to fatigue towards the end of the sets, but you're going to see an immediate difference when I switch over to my left hand. And that's why I'm doing these exercises, is because that lack of even development is something that I want to mediate as quickly as possible. I want to fix that. And if you find yourself in the situation where you're injured, I highly suggest you put a lot of effort into evening out your body as quickly as you can, but also as safely as you can. I have taken a more conservative approach to handling heavier weights in movements that are stressing the bicep directly, and that is because I would rather just heal once, take a little bit more time, and heal correctly, as opposed to really pushing the envelope, healing quickly, getting back to it, and then potentially re-injuring or re-aggravating that injury, and then going through a perpetual cycle of battling this chronic injury that just tends to pop up. So it's a personal preference kind of thing. And then the last thing that I wanted to include was a little bit of rotator cuff work. I've really been enjoying utilizing the rotator cuff work. It has helped my shoulders to feel considerably more stable. And with this movement, you really have to make sure that you get your body angle correct on the pulleys, or else you will not feel it in the rotator cuff. So that's one of the fun things. I typically turn my hip, you can see me turn my hip away from the pulley, and that's putting the majority of the stress on the rotator cuff right there. So with all that being said, I wanted to focus a little bit more on the lifting aspect of this workout, since I've been talking about a couple other things the last couple videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some insight and maybe gave you one or two ideas for your own training. Really, that's what this series is about, is kind of documenting this process and then being able to share that with people and being able to share that information. And another thing that is about sharing information is the Basics of Strongman. That's a series on my channel. Yes, that was a sweet segue, I know. That is a series on my channel. It's a playlist where we are addressing just the basics of strongman. If you're interested in getting into strongman, I highly suggest you check out that playlist. It covers all the things that you will need to know when you are beginning your journey in strongman. And then if you're already a competitor in strongman, you already have a lot of interest in it, you want to learn some of the more advanced stuff from someone who really knows what they're talking about, then I highly suggest you check out the Strongman Theory playlist, where I walk you through a lot of the more complicated aspects of getting better at competition in the sport of strongman. And specifically, I highly suggest you check out the video that is addressing weaknesses or assessing weaknesses in that playlist. It is probably the best video that I have ever made, period. So I'm very proud of that video. Highly suggest you check it out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.